Hey everyone, Louis here from the CS team. Today I'm going to show you how you can sort and filter add-ons. Add-ons are a functionality that help make query responses more informative by including data from reference tables. They're designed to simplify the process of getting all the data you need without having to make multiple API requests or add multiple database request functions to your stack. Add-ons are additional queries that are included in the result of the main query. And because of that, they cannot be sorted or filtered here in the settings of the query records function because they run after the main query is done. To start with, let me show you how things are set up in my database. In the users table, I have a column that is a reference to the company table. In the company table, I only have the name. And I also have a products table with the name of the product, a reference to the company. So each company has many different products. And I also have a field that is the release date that is a date type field. So what we're going to do is we're going to filter this table. And we're also going to be sorting by name and release date. And now let's start building our API endpoint. And the first thing I did was including a text type input that is set up as a list. Because in our filter, we're going to return only the products whose names are included in the list of text strings that we're going to provide in the input payload. And in our function stack, the first function that I added was to query all the records from the users table. And here in the output, we can see that we have two add-ons. The first one is a single add-on that's called company, because each user is referenced to one company and it's returning its results here inside this underscore company field. And nested inside this add-on, there's another add-on that is an array this time because we have many products referenced to one company and it's returning its results inside this underscore products of company field. I also added another function creating a variable that's basically separating the first add-on that's called underscore company from the return of the first query. And that makes our lives much easier down the road. So let me show you what it looks like for now. So I have here the data from the user table. I also have the data from the company table. That is a single value here, one company. And each company has many different products. For example, this one has 9, this one has 6, and so on. And here in our filtering step, I have actually two parts. The first one is going through the actual add-on that I'm going to filter. In my case, is the product. So I'm adding the filter products to the right company. And then I have an additional step that is adding the company to the right user. So if you have an add-on that's 3 levels deep, you would need one filtering step and 2 additional steps. And if you don't have any nested add-on, you don't need any additional step and you can do everything with just one. And now that we know that, you can start going over the functions of this step. And the first step is to create a variable that I named companies, and the value is just an empty array. And this variable is going to host the data of the filter products for each company. And the next step is a for each loop that I'm going to iterate through this variable called new. And if you don't remember, this variable returns the company add-on that is separated from the user. Let me just show you what one item of this array new looks like. So here I have a company and the list of products of that company. And this path underscore products of company is very important for the next function that we're going to use, which is the array final elements that you can find here under dynamic manipulation, array final elements. So what this does is return another list with matched items based on an expression, similar to a custom query of a query records, but this time within a variable. So this path is going to be referenced here in this item. Everything here is an item, dot underscore products of company. And this function uses this underscore this to reference each element of this array using dot notation. So dot name, which is the name here. So if the name is inside a list of text strings that I'm providing an input equals to true, please return them to me. and I'm returning as a variable called filtered. And now that I have my list of filtered products, I need to update this list over here that has all the products of a specific company with only the elements that matched my expression. So I no longer want all the products of this company. I only want the filter products. And ultimately, what I do is to add the item, which is each company with a list of filter products, to this company's variable over here. So I'm adding this item variable to this company's list. Now that we're done filtering the products and adding to the right company, we're going to filter the company and add to the right user. And the process, though, is very similar to the first part. So this time is going to be more focused on the user. I'm creating a variable that's going to receive the list of users and their companies. I'm going to loop through the list of users that is returning from the first tab over here. This time I'm using a array find first element because each user has one company, so I don't need to return a list this time. The array that I'm going to iterate through in this function is the one having the companies and the filter products. So I'm going to reference these companies over here. The expression is that this, which is each element of the companies list, so the company.id, so the ID of the company equals to the item, which is the user.company_ID. So if the ID of the company is the same of the company_ID field in the users table, please return it to me as a company of user variable. And now I'm updating the add-on and adding everything to this variable here that was initially an empty list. So let's go ahead and run. So now I'm providing a list of products that I want to return from the companies. So I don't want to return all the list this time, only these products. So let's go ahead and run. So here we can see that we have the users, the company, and only the filtered products. So we don't have all of them this time, only the ones that are presented in this list. So that's good. Now that we have learned how to filter add-ons, let's learn how to sort them. And now let's see how we can sort the list of products in alphabetical order and by release date. And the process is already much simpler than filtering. And since there are lists of items inside objects, we need to loop through them and sort them in the way we want. But this, I just call it an old approach because ever since we introduced Xano Transform, many of the for each loops can be avoided and we can do everything in just one function that is just create a variable. All I'm doing is giving the variable a name, and the value is what's coming from my database. There's a variable users that's returning from the query all records in the first step. I'm applying the set filter that you can find here. And here we have to define the path. I'm using the path of the second add-on. And I'm using a little expression. I'm using this double $sign that transforms all the items from this path. You can learn more about Xano Transform by referring to our documentation. And I'm using this pipe sign to apply a filter to it. And the filter that I'm using is sort. And the parameter that I'm using to sort is the field called name. So let's go ahead and change here the response, sorting by name. So if we run, we see that the list of products are now sorted in alphabetical order. And to sort the list of products by release date, the process is quite similar. However, we need to change this date field type that is recognized by the system as a text string into a numeric timestamp. Let me show you how you can do that. The same way I did with the sorting by name, I created a variable. I call it sort by date this time. I'm using the value as a return of the query records. I added a set filter, and the path is going to be release date. And the expression now is changing this, like all the elements of this field to a timestamp. And now that I have a numeric value, I'm sorting by the release date field, and I'm using a number as a parameter of the sort filter. So if you go ahead and run, we can see that it's already sorted, but it's hard for us to see. So I'm going to add another filter very quickly here, just to show us that it's working. Good. So we have this list. So this is October 1st, 2000, April 1st, 2004, February 8th, 2005, and February 14th, 2005. So it's all sorted by release date and in an ascending order. And if you have any additional questions, don't forget to leave here in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel to be notified of more videos like this. To learn more about Xano, visit our awesome community or refer to our documentation. And the support team is always here for you. Just have to go to Help Live Chat within the platform. See you in the next video.